You are listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair on RLM Radio.
The girl of your dreams has got to be in some bar.
Sorry, boys and girls, but this is X-rated. So if you're under 18...
Get out, goddammit!
Get the point? Good.
Enough?
Bend over.
Y'all ready for this?
Get it up. Get it up. I can't wait anymore.
I like to watch.
Whatever you desire. I know you like it. Do it.
We do it all night long.
And now, your host, Grammy.
Oh yeah, it's me, that crazy whack-a-doodle woman here on a whack-a-doodle Wednesday. Y'all are listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair here on RealLibertyMedia.com, Channel 3. Also on the RLMRadio.xyz site, the RLM Spreaker channel, the RLM TuneIn radio station, all kind of RLM places. RLM-a-num-a-num-a-num-a-num. And it has been a wacky Wednesday. Ooh, Wednesday Wisdom. Prison Planet and Women Vote. Really? Seriously? I forgot to yesterday. I actually did. Because I wanted to go and, put my little ticker in there for a certain school board member. But other than that, I really didn't give two squats about any of that stuff. So, but hey, I didn't. I did not go and punch a Chad because, well, Chad didn't piss me off, so why punch him? And I didn't feel like coloring inside the circle. I mean, if I'm going to have to color inside a circle, I'm going to do it on a lottery ticket so I can win some money, honey. Oh, well, that's right. I am a cracker. I'm a Grammy cracker. Well, except for my legs. They're white. And my backside. That's white, too. But, don't see the sun. Well, the legs see the sun, but they don't care. It's like, really? Seriously? You think I'm going to change color? No. Stop shaving your legs. Then I'll change color. So... I know you needed to hear that, didn't you? Oh, bless your hearts. Okay, over here on Twitter, I still got 364 followers. Woohoo! Thank you, Barman and Jabberwocky, for retweeting me over here. I really do appreciate it. 64-year-old refused $1 million for her home. Booyah! And they had to build around her. Booyah! How often does that happen anymore? That's a World Truth TV thing over here on... Twitter, by the way, out in Seattle, Washington. Yeah, go figure. Let's see. Who else is around? I did not say nothing over here on the Crush and Run Corner Pocket. Let me see if I actually... Nope, wrong thing. I have entirely too many. What? Prove that thing about the white legs. Well, JJ's, I would, but right now I'm kind of sort of bundled up. Actually, my legs are black today because I'm wearing black fleece-lined tights. Yeah, because it's kind of chilly out here, and the breeze just cuts right through jeans. So I have multiple layers, which made it quite interesting when I had to go to the bathroom. So, Grim, I don't know because I don't get the paper. It's a weekly paper. I probably ought to because my dear friend Kate is now the editor there. And she's doing from the times that I have seen the paper since she's taken over, she's doing a hell of a job. And I'm proud of her for getting that. She just walked in because the previous editor, they were wondering why she wasn't showing up on Monday, because Monday is when you put the paper together, get stuff ready to... get it so that it can be printed and be dispersed on Wednesday. And she didn't show up for work. And they finally, around 9:30, 10 o'clock, someone went over to her house and found her. Yeah. She had heart issues. Bless her heart. So Miss Kate went in the next week and just handed her resume. And they gave her the job. So, and she, like I said, she's doing a hell of a good job. She's making it a little bit more interesting. I may have to actually subscribe to the newspaper. I mean, it's local. You find out who's having a bake sale and, that kind of stuff. So, it's really interesting news as opposed to that shit that's in the big newspapers. So, okay, Twitter. Think Progress. I think Progress has a problem and we need your help to solve it. Oh, honey, Progress always has a problem. That's just the way it works. Okay. Over here on this effing site, I see the lovely Estrella has been posting like a crazy brains. Bless your heart, Estrella. You keep sharing that vital information, girlfriend. You the bomb. I also saw Katie Troxel was over here as well as Late In and Oliver. Hi, Oliver. How are you doing, sweetie? I don't know if you're still hanging out or not, but hey, sweetheart. How you doing? You might want to consider shaving, although I think you'd need an industrial strength razor. But, just saying. I saw that gorilla face, and it's like, woo! Okay, over here on Fakey Book, what do I got going on Fakey Book? Besides, not a whole hell of a lot. Not a whole hell of a lot. My dear friend Lisa B. is going to a Brene Brown talk tomorrow night. So, is that tomorrow night or is that? No, that's tonight. Because she wanted me to go with her, and I said, I got radio. I can't do that. I can't leave my listeners stranded like that. Like I've never done that before. But, in any case, so, they're having fun. No, Lizzie, I have never felt that way. Oh, man. Damn. Okay, Corner Pocket. I see JJ's is over here. I got you, babe, too. Hi, sweetie. How you doing? I don't see anybody. There's really not a whole heck of a lot of people off on the side either. But Fluke had to let me know that the other duck had already been nabbed. See how you are, Fluke. But you know what? I got the duck over here in the R-aluminum. I don't know how. I do know how. It did not want to be friends with Rob. It wanted to be friends with me because ducks like me. Quack, quack, waddle, waddle, quack, quack, waddle, waddle. Okay, and you know what? Since I'm over here in the RLM, which is where you need to be, by the way, if you want to give me static, or you can be in the Corner Pocket as well because JJ's giving me static over there. He said I need to show pics or shut the fudge up. Which, speaking of fudge, I just got my book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fudge. That's not the actual title because I don't feel like saying that word just yet. I'm not quite ready to drop an F-bomb. So it's a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. And I read the little blurb on it and I thought, oh, this looks fun. I may have fun with this. And I may have to read some of it to you this evening. You never know. But before that, I need to say hey there. Hey, barman. How you doing, sweetie? Thank you ever so much for all that you do. You such an awesome barman. I'll give you a tip, all right. Don't go out with married women, so leave your wife at home. Hey, barman. How are you doing? I see you over here, JJ's. You is here. I is here. You know, it's like the little Who's down in Whoville. Only Horton could hear them till they yelled really loud. Oh, Frumpy's a cracker too. Sweet. Pretty Patel. Oh. Resigned before she got sacked. Ah. Well, that's usually the best way to go. Yeah, resign, because that way you can say, I didn't want to work here anyway. Kiss my ass. Oh, that would be so fun to do. Actually, I have done that once. I didn't even have something else lined up, but it didn't take long, and I found something else real quick. But it was like, I am sick of your shit, girlfriend. And yeah, I was out of there. I needed a drink real quick. Okay, so over here, Grimner is here. Grimner is also the RLM god, don't you know? And Grimner shares stuff all over the place. Thank you, Grimmy, for all that you do. And I might get, because I got my new headphones yesterday, but I haven't had a chance to play with them. And they're a different kind of, they're a USB, and they have their own sound card. And I didn't really want to, screw shit up without testing. So I may test it this evening, or I may just wait until tomorrow evening to test them. But I want to test them before Friday so I can play Friday. Play. The UK foreign minister is a total arse. as opposed to a partial arse. That's called half-assed over here. Or how fast. Oh, wow. That's an attractive look. Wow. Thanks, JJ. Okay, I also see Asmodeus Asmo is over here. Hey, Asmo, I see you logged in. Why don't you ever play when I'm here? Huh? And looky there, the lovely Beth Z is showing up in the chat, as well as BTC Bob and Chelsea Denis, because just can't have that going on today. Apparently Whack-A-Doodle is just too much. The lovely Circles is here, my brilliant and lovely sister. Double dipping a Chloe going on in the house. Hey, Chloe, I feel like an echo. Yoo-hoo! And I'm here echoing and torturing your eardrums, as well as Dibby Don C, who is just a 3D printing fool. Let me tell you, from some of the stuff I've seen in the chitty chat, I get to see stuff in the chat, but I don't get to talk much, because then the phone rings, and then I have to take notes, and then I'm at work. They expect me to actually earn my paycheck. Go figure. Thank you, JJ's. I roll too. Oh no, that's that roll around the waist. Never mind. Moving along. Hi, Java Doctor 2. How you doing, sweetheart? Haven't seen any new pictures of the lovely Miss Lily. I'm going through some Grammy withdrawal, which, by the way, I know Flasher had hint implied that I could do the dork table this weekend, and I was actually sort of kicking it around, doing the dork table with a guest host. But then I had an awesome opportunity fall in my lap, basically, and I'm going to have little ones in my lap Saturday. Going to be helping babysit a little 2-year-old and a little 4-year-old. And oh my goodness, sorry guys, I love you dearly, but playing with a 2-year-old and 4-year-old and letting my inner child just run free, oh yeah, that takes precedence over... Oh, wait a minute, I do that already, don't I? Moving along. Hi, JJ's. How you doing, sweetheart? I couldn't tell if you played today or not because my sound card is still at work, and I still haven't convinced them to get me a new computer, so... that sucks. I also see Juana Taco. Ooh, sounds yummy, but you know what? Last night, I was busy cooking. As a cooking, Grammy was getting hot in the kitchen. Let me tell you. I'll have to tell you about that later, too. Tell you all the stuff I made. I was playing. Oh, that would be so fun, JJ's, if we did the dork table. That would be fun. We may have to do that one of these days, but not this weekend, because this weekend I'm going to be playing with babies. 2-year-old and 4-year-old. Oh, yes, this will be fun. I will be exhausted, but it will be fun. In any case, where was I? Oh, P. Bunyan Timber. Hey, P. Bunyan, how you doing? And the lovely Kate from Florida is here. Looky there, we also have a lovely Rain. Got a double dose of lovely ladies right there. And the RLM Fluke, who is the Vanna White of the RLM channel, don't you know? I also see Rob Works, who, bless your heart, fired up that bubbler, even though I beat him to the... Well, I got the duck. I didn't beat him to it, but I got the duck. Quack, quack, waddle, waddle, quack, quack, waddle, waddle. And looky there, Tip Bob, the other Bob in the house. Bob. Hot trust no one, or number one, or however you wish to say that. I really do miss the Darth Roams. God, that's fun to do. Hi, Phantom. See, that just worked perfectly, going right into the Phantom. And thank you, sweetheart, for my intro. I also see the lovely Dimma is here. I don't know how lovely you are, Dimma, but I'm going to say you are anyway. And I do know the lovely Dorky Lynn is a lovely lady. Frumpy is here. Hey, Frumpy. You know, it wasn't until about 3 minutes till go time that I went, you know, I could have put some frumpy britches on and been a little more comfy. But no, I farted around, didn't have time. Gooberzilla is here. Hey, Goob. Hey, Goob. I also see Jehovah One is in the house, as well as Kozu. And looky there, Nenson Dubois. I love that name. That is so fun to say. Nenson Dubois. It gets all the facial muscles working. And totally freaks out Flasher. And looky there, Poxified is here, as well as Pompopan Sauce, and to round out the crew, the one, the only, the Slim Jim, who is not one of those skinny tubular jerky treat thingies that are probably not real good for you, but he's a little on the spicy and saucy side, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I had a life on Mars. Really? How cool! And so what did you do to get kicked off of there? Did you die and then get reborn on Earth? That would suck. Wow. And Monsters Among Us. Dang, Rob Works, you just overachieving on all this. I know there's monsters among us. I know some that are, little bitty. But, so, speaking of little bitty, had little bitty ones on the showroom yesterday. Mommy and Daddy were having service work done on their vehicle, and I have Legos for the kids to play with, and I have super humongous coloring books and crayons for them. Wow. I forgot what it's like to have little ones in the house. I got reminded yesterday at work. Watch where you step. You might step on a crayon. Thankfully, I had shoes on. So the inadvertent stepping on a Lego with bare feet didn't happen. But whee! Oh, there was Legos and crayons and coloring book stuff all over the place. And there was one point we have a bright yellow brand new Camaro sitting on the showroom floor, and the littlest one, which you can always tell when she's stopped because she has little squeakers in her shoes. So as she's walking, she has a little squeaky thing going on. And, I didn't hear squeaks. And I looked up and I saw feet on the far side of the Camaro. And I went, so I got up and I carefully walked over there. And she had crayon in hand. And I was like, thank God she did not color on the new one. It was a god-awful small affair. Oh, the girl with the mousy hair. I don't have mousy hair. And I don't want an iPhone. I have an iPad. Fits perfectly over my eye. Okay. In any case, little ones. And I got little ones to play with this weekend. But, last night, because I was going to tell you about that too. Last night, my eldest daughter is letting me use her grain grinder. And so, I have a Milo connection out here. Sorghum, for those of you that ain't a farmer. Because when I worked at the grain elevator, I asked them, so how do you spell sorghum? Because, we were taking grain in. And she said, M-I-L-O. And I went, huh? Then I went, oh, okay, thanks. But, so I got this coffee can full of fresh grain. Oh, it's a life on Mars? Wow. Ooh, hey, mousy-haired girl. Now I see where you are going with that. Okay, now I understand. It's like I don't speak Martian or something. Go figure. In any case, last night, I ground up some freshly cut Milo and made my own flour. Yay, yay, yay. I was so proud of myself, and I didn't break anything, which made me even more proud of myself. And then I thought, ooh, I have this freshly ground Milo flour. Let's make some zucchini muffins. So I did a little bit of tweaking because, Grammy, it doesn't rise real good. Not quite like, but I'm making it for someone that's gluten intolerant, so couldn't add gluten to it. So I'm still tweaking. I'm still working on the recipe, and thankfully I have someone who is willing to eat the experiments. So it's all good. It's all good. In any case, so I was doing that, and whilst I was doing that, also working on some potato and dumpling soup, and that's what's in the oven right now on a slow warm. So it will be ready for supper tonight when I get done on the radio. So yeah, I was a cooking Grammy last night. And I won't have to really cook for a few more days because I'll have leftovers. All I have to do is just heat it up. So hey, yeehaw. Okay, now that I've told you about my menu, and no, I'm not going to take no pictures of my legs because I have jeans on and I have fleece lined tights on and I have boots on. And over all of that, I have my pink fuzzy house coat because it's kind of chilly. It's kind of drafty. I need to finish putting plastic on windows or something. So, I'm all wrapped up. So, no pics of the legs. Sorry. Although that is one of the tamer requests I've had. I did see that Facebook, is this a bullshit thing? Because I really didn't investigate because it was like, really, seriously, like as if. Facebook is wanting you to send nudies so that you can counteract the people that are sending you nudies, and it's like, really? No, I ain't gonna do that. I didn't even want to go to the article. But is that like some kind of new scammer thingy that's going on Fakey Book to get people to send nudies? If it is, it's pretty freaking lame. But okay, I'm gonna keep a. Oh, hey, over on Minds. Hi, Minds. I didn't share nothing over here on Minds to let you know I'm on, but hi. Just in case, because Ocelli has liked a couple of times when it's been shared over there. So, hi! Okay, I'm going to go check out my pocket, because I did throw some stuff in my pocket over the last few days, but right now I actually have my pocket on the recommended tab, and it's got a couple of things that I thought, ooh, this is very interesting. You actually gave me some recommendations that look quite fascinating. Like the Munger operating system. What the hell is the Munger operating system? And how to live a life that really works. I'm curious, so I'm going to check on it. I'm a curious Grammy. Apparently, let's see. In 2007, Charlie Munger gave a commencement address at the USC Law School, opening his speech by saying, well, no doubt many of you are wondering why the speaker is so old. Well, the answer is obvious. He hasn't died yet. Oh, I like this guy already. Fortunately for us, Munger has kept on ticking, and the commencement speech is an excellent response to the big question. How do we live a life that really works? Try not to mess with other people and stay out of their way and do your own thing and take care of yourself. And don't expect everybody else to, because life don't owe you nothing. It really doesn't. Neither does the universe. Universe don't owe you nothing. You didn't just kind of pop out of the womb and the universe went, oh, wow, there's a debt I got to pay. No, it didn't do that. Doesn't work that way. So, okay, to get back to this. It has so many of Munger's core ideas that we think the speech represents the Munger operating system for life. See, and I was thinking maybe this was a new kind of like Linux thing, but obviously not. So, to get what you want, deserve what you want. Bada bing, bada boom. Trust, success, and admiration are earned. Yes, they are. It's such a simple idea. It's the golden rule, so to speak. You want to deliver to the world what you would buy if you were on the other end. True. There is no ethos, in my opinion, that is better for any lawyer or any other person to have. By and large, the people who have this ethos win in life, and they don't win just money and not just honors. They win the respect, the deserved trust of the people they deal with, and there is a huge pleasure in life to be obtained from getting deserved trust. Yes, there is, especially if it's a little one that is trusting towards you. That is something that you do not wish to abuse, Because little ones are trusting. Most of them start off trusting, and then someone abuses their trust, and that's when they start becoming cynical and start becoming little monsters. Those monsters among us. But if you earn someone else's trust by behaving in a trustful manner, kind of makes you feel good knowing that others trust you because you are trustworthy. Learn to love and admire the right people, live or dead. A second idea that I got very early was that there is no love that's so right as admiration or admiration-based love, and that love should include the instructive dead. Somehow I got that idea and I lived with it all my life. And it's been very, very useful to me. Well, that really is some pretty good advice. Because there's lots of people that, although they're dead now, and, I didn't necessarily know them personally, like Plato or Socrates or George Washington, although according to my dad, we're related to Martha Washington, but doesn't make me related to George, but still. There are some things that people back in history have been quoted as saying or credited as saying certain things that I find quite intuitive or that really resonate with me. And so, although I may not have liked them in person, I really do appreciate some of their valuable input that has come down through the ages. And my grandpa is no longer among us, but I still love him, and he taught me lots and lots of life lessons. So, see, I can understand how that works. Acquiring wisdom is a moral duty as well as a practical one. Oh, that is a bada bing, bada boom. And there's a corollary to that proposition, which is very important. It means that you're hooked for lifetime learning. And without lifetime learning, you people are not going to do very well. You're not going to get very far in life based on what you already know, especially if you start that already know like in infancy. It's like, you know that boobs feed you and that some big fuzzy person that basically to your ears sounds like a Charlie Brown teacher comes and cleans your dirty butt for you. That's about all you know when you're an infant. You need to learn, and you need to keep learning. I think it was Mark Twain that said that you don't grow or I'm going to paraphrase this, you will not grow old if you continue to learn. So, keep learning, even if they're rough lessons, because those lessons can save you in the long run. Let's see. You're going to advance in life by what you're going to learn after you leave here. If civilization can process or progress only when it invents the method of invention, then you can progress only when you learn the method of learning. I'm not sure that I follow that reasoning, but okay. Learn to fluency the big multidisciplinary ideas of the world and use them regularly. Learn to fluency. I'm going to have to ponder that. What I noted since the really big ideas carry 95% of the freight, it wasn't at all hard for me to pick up all of the big ideas from all of the big disciplines and make them a standard part of my mental routines. Once you have the ideas, of course, they are no good if you don't practice. And if you don't practice, you lose it. Yes, it's most definitely a use it or lose it kind of situation. So, I went through life constantly practicing this model of the multidisciplinary approach. Well, I can't tell you what that's done for me. It's made life more fun. It's made me more constructive. It's made me more helpful to others. It's made me enormously rich. Okay, this is obviously this gentleman because I'm wealthy, but not in the monetary fashion. You name it, that attitude really helps, which, yes, it does. Be curious, I think, would be a very quick way of saying that. Always be curious. Always question. Always. Even me. Question me, because sometimes I'm pretty questionable. Yep, now there are dangers there because it works so well. But if you do, it will frequently find you are sitting in the presence of some other expert, maybe even an expert that's superior to you or supervising you. And you will know more than he does about his own specialty. A lot more. I don't know that you necessarily will know more, but you'll see it from a different perspective, possibly. And give them a different view at looking at possibly a problem, and maybe they'll have an Acme light bulb moment. Aha! Learning to think through problems backwards as well as forward. Oh, yeah. My problem is I have a tendency to do that after I'm already in a problem. Oh, man, am I in a pickle? How'd I get here? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember how I got here now. Shit! The way complex adaptive systems work and the way mental constructs work, problems frequently get easier and I would even say, usually are easier to solve if you turn around in reverse. Oh, back to him. Ooh, that could be a problem. In other words, if you want to help India, the question you should ask is not, how can I help India? You think, what's doing the worst damage in India? What would automatically do the worst damage, and how do I avoid it? You'd think that they're logical or logically the same thing, but they're not. Those of you who have mastered algebra, know that inversion frequently will solve problems which nothing else will solve. And in life, unless you're more gifted than Einstein, inversion will help you solve problems that you can't solve in other ways. Be reliable. Unreliability can cancel out all the other virtues. Yes, it can. Because it makes, if you're unreliable, then you're obviously untrustworthy as well. If you're unreliable, it doesn't matter what your virtues are, you're going to crater immediately. So, doing what you have faithfully engaged to do should be an automatic part of your conduct. You want to avoid sloth and unreliability. There's days where I can be quite slothy. They're usually on the weekends. Usually don't get out of my jammers. Lots of times Flasher has to see me in my jammers. Which I'm sure is quite distracting, especially if I'm wearing my Eeyores. Oh well. Avoid intense ideologies. Always consider the other side as carefully as your own. And that's a toughie. That is a toughie. Because a lot of times my ideologies I've grown rather attached to. And so having to consider someone else's perspective when I really, really like mine, sometimes that's rather difficult to do. And there's times when I have to actually sit back and say, okay, do not type anything until you think this through a bit. Just take a pause and ponder. Another thing I think should be avoided is extremely intense ideology because it cabbages up one's mind. Does that mean it makes it gassy? Because cabbage makes me gassy. I know you've seen it. You've seen a lot of it on TV. You know, the preachers, for instance. They've all got different ideas about theology. And a lot of them have minds that are made of cabbage. Yeah, you just keep peeling and peeling and peeling, and all you're getting is gassy, 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 lots of hot air that's not exactly a pleasant aroma. But that can also happen with political ideology. And if you're young, it's easy to drift into loyalties. And when you announce that you're a loyal member and you start shouting the orthodox ideology out, what you're doing is pounding it in, pounding it in, pounding it in. And you're not getting anybody to follow you because they're thinking, ow, that hurts, go away. You're gradually ruining your mind. So you want to be very careful with this ideology thing because it's a big danger. In my mind, I have a little example I use whenever I think about ideology. And it's these Scandinavian canoeists who succeeded in taming all the rapids in Scandinavia, and they thought they would tackle the whirlpool in the Grand Rapids here in the United States. The death rate was 100%. Well, a big whirlpool is not something that you want to go into, and I think the same is true with a really deep ideology. I have what I call an iron prescription that helps me keep sane when I naturally drift towards preferring one ideology over another. And that is, I say, I'm not entitled to have an opinion on this subject unless I can state the arguments against my position better than the people who are supporting it. I think that only when I reach the stage I am qualified to speak. Now you can say that's too much of an iron discipline, and it's not too much of an iron discipline. It's not even that hard to do. And no, it really isn't, because, sometimes it is kind of fun to play devil's advocate with yourself. Kind of sucks when I lose my own argument, but, at least I don't do it out loud for the most part. And that's kind of sort of that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy Hansel. And yes, even Chloe can get that where it's like, oh, let me think here. Y'all make me think. You really make me, and I have to really, I don't necessarily do it so much in the chat, but in my mind, I am playing both sides of that argument and trying to, and a lot of times I don't say anything because by the time I get around to settling that argument in my own mind, the chat has moved on to 20 other different topics, and so it's like way too late to throw my dead horse in the ring. So, oh well. But I really do. I enjoy people that are very, 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 very attached to their opinions and their perspectives, because they, excuse me, they help me either become more attached to mine and become comfortable with becoming more attached to it, or they help me change my perspective. Either way, they help me. So thank you ever so much. I truly do appreciate that. Now, the next one is get rid of self-serving bias, envy, resentment, and self-pity. Oh, yeah, that pity pot, that thing just needs to be cleaned out and maybe even boxed up and stuck in a corner somewhere where, where you put that stuff in a really safe place that you won't forget, and then you promptly forget where you put it. That's where you need to put that pity pot. Generally speaking, envy, resentment, revenge, and self-pity are disastrous modes of thought. Self-pity gets pretty close to paranoia, and paranoia is one of the very hardest things to reverse. Although you're not really paranoid if they really are out to get you. Just putting that out there. You do not want to drift into self-pity. No, because there's lots of floaters in that pity pot too. And those are not baby Ruths. Just saying. I have a friend who carried a big stack of index cards about, and he says this thick, but there's no picture to tell me how thick. And when somebody would make a comment that reflected self-pity, he would take out one of the cards, take the top one off the stack, and hand it to the person. And the card said, "Your story has touched my heart. Never have I heard of anyone with as many misfortunes as you." Well, you can say that's waggery, But I suggest that every time you find you're drifting into self-pity, I don't care what the cause, your child could be dying of cancer. Self-pity is not going to improve the situation. Just give yourself one of those cards. Then give yourself a metaphorical hug, and then pull up your britches and get back in there and start doing your thing without the pity. It's a ridiculous way to behave, by the way, and when you avoid it, you get a great advantage over everybody else. Well, almost everybody else, because self-pity is a standard condition, and yet you can train yourself out of it. And, of course, self-serving bias, excuse me, you want to get that out of yourself too. Thinking that what's good for you is good for the wider civilization and rationalizing all these ridiculous conclusions based on your subconscious tendencies to serve oneself. There's lots of times where I will say things and go, no, you all need to, and then I have to catch myself and go, wait a minute here. I need to. And just let people figure out on their own what they need to. I do it as bad as everybody else does. And I catch myself and I give myself a bop upside the head occasionally and say, damn it, woman. At the same time, allow for the self-serving bias in others who haven't removed it. Sometimes just try not to be condescending about it, but sometimes you have to allow people to work their way. Okay, all the time. You need to let people work their way through it because you're browbeating them ain't gonna. Sometimes when you browbeat people, and tell them you're an ass or you're arrogant or you're condescending or you're this or you're that, all you're doing is making them dig their heels in further. Stop it. Instead of saying you're a, just say or try saying, here I am telling you what to do. How about you just try something like, thank you ever so much for giving me that example. I truly appreciate that. I will incorporate that into my daily life. As in, this is one of those things that I do not wish to be. This is a behavior I do not wish to exhibit. I'm learning lots of life lessons about that stuff. And I'm also learning an awful lot of life lessons about how I wish to be. So, it balances out. Okay, let's see. If you don't allow for self-serving bias in your conduct, again, you're a fool because, you need to, it is a human condition and we need to work through it. Apparently, he watched a brilliant Harvard Law School trained general counsel at Salomon lose his career. And what he did was when the CEO became aware that some underling had done something wrong, the general counsel said, gee, we don't have any legal duty to report this, but I think it's what we should do. It's our moral duty. Of course, the general counsel was totally correct, but of course it didn't work. It was a very unpleasant thing for the CEO to do, and he put it off, and of course everything eroded into a major scandal, and down went the CEO and the general counsel with him. The correct answer in situations like this was given by Ben Franklin, when he said, if you want to persuade, appeal to interest, not to reason. Oh, I like that. If you want to persuade, appeal to interest, not reason. Yeah, you appeal to someone's reason and they're going to give you reasons why they can't. The self-serving bias is so extreme. And if the general counsel had said, look, this is going to erupt. It's something that will destroy you. Take away your money. Take away your status. It's a perfect disaster. It would have worked. Sometimes you have to work with and play on someone else's self-serving bias. That's called self-preservation kind of thing, or a CYA moment. Cover your ass. Avoid being part of a system that with perverse incentives. Oh, that leaves politics out. Completely out. Incentives are too powerful a controller of human condition and human behavior. And one of the things that you're going to find in some modern law firms is billable hours quotas. Yeah. It's not just law firms that do that. I could not have lived under a billable hour quota of 2,400 hours a year. Wow, that's a lot of hours. That would have caused serious problems for me, and I wouldn't have done it, and I don't have a solution for you for that either. You'll have to figure it out for yourself, but it's a significant problem. Yeah, that's craziness. I don't give a shit how much you actually do, but you produce those billable hours so we can make some ching. Okay, work with and under people you admire. And avoid the inverse when at all possible. Yeah. That requires some talent. The way this author solved it is I figured out that people I did admire, and I maneuvered cleverly without criticizing anybody so that I was working entirely under people I admired. And a lot of law firms will permit that if you're shrewd enough to work it out. And your outcome in life will be way more satisfactory and way better if you work under people that you really admire. The alternative is not a good idea. Yeah, I have worked for people and I did not remain working for them because I just plain couldn't. I just couldn't work for someone that I didn't respect. Learn to maintain your objectivity, especially when it's hardest. We all remember that Darwin paid special attention to confirming evidence, particularly when it confirmed something he believed and loved. Well, objectivity maintenance routines are totally required in life if you're going to be a correct thinker. And there we're talking about Darwin's attitude, his special attention to disconfirming evidence. Oh, wait, I need to reread that. Yes, he paid special attention to disconfirming. See, even I screw up. I read what I thought I was reading and not necessarily what was there. Checklists are routines, or checklist routines avoid a lot of errors. Really? You should have all of this elementary wisdom, and then you should go through and have a checklist in order to use it. There is no other procedure that will work as well. Well, sometimes you have to. That's where, this whole scientific stuff, that's why I really don't have a whole hell of a lot of respect for a lot of scientists anymore. I mean, for God's sake, how many of them are behind the global warming debacle? But it's true. Because lots of scientists set forth to prove their already preconceived notion. And anymore, if you wish to get published, you have to do so in a manner, even if you have to manipulate the data, which they don't call that manipulating the data. They call that using the data that fits with what you were experimenting or trying to prove. Yeah, in other words, it's kind of a job security thing. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. Concentrate experience and power into the hands of the right people. The wise learning machines. I don't know that you want to concentrate power into anyone's hands. Unless it's power over themselves. I think the game of life in many respects is getting a lot of practice into the hands of the people that have the most aptitude to learn and the most tendency to be learning machines. And if you want the very highest reaches of human civilization, that's where you have to go. Actually, I think where you have to go is you have to help others develop their own learning machine tendencies. You do not want to choose a brain surgeon if for your child among 50 applicants, all of them just take turns during the procedure. No, 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 no. You don't want your airplane designed that way. You don't want your Berkshire Hathaways run that way. You want to get the power into the right people. Okay. Yes, if you are going to entrust yourself into someone else's hands, you better make sure that that person is capable. I get that. And you know, you do know that what they call someone that graduated medical school with the lowest possible grades that you could get and still graduate medical school? Yeah, they still call them doctor. So, yeah, be careful. Just because there's a title doesn't mean that you really want to go there. You'll be most successful where you're most intensely interested. That I wholeheartedly agree with. If you really, really, really enjoy what you're doing and you're very, very interested in what you're doing, you will jump into it, both feet clean up to your neck and possibly up to your eyebrows, just depending on how far that interest takes you. Learn the all-important concept of assiduity. What the hell is that? Sit down and do it until it's done. Oh, assiduity. I like that. I like that word. 2 partners that I chose for one little phase of my life had the following rule. They created a little design/build construction team. They sat down and said, 2-man partnership. Divide everything equally. Here's the rule. Whenever we're behind in our commitments to other people, we will both work 14-hour days until we're caught up. That is a partnership that works. Needless to say, that firm didn't fail. The people died rich. And it really is a simple idea. If you start doing something, finish it. Finish what you started. That's what Mom always said. And if you're going to do something, do it right. It's always best to do it right the first time, even if it takes a little bit longer, because that is still a shorter amount of time and a lot less frustration than doing it slipshod and having to come back and fix it multiple times later and cussing the whole damn time. Use setbacks in life as opportunity to become a bigger and better person. Don't wallow. Wallow, 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 wallow. Another thing, of course, in life will be life will have terrible blows, horrible blows, unfair blows, and it doesn't matter. And some people recover and others don't. And there I think the attitude of Epictetus, whatever, looks like someone from Greece. Okay, I have butchered a name. Apparently this person's attitude is the best. He thought that every mischance in life was an opportunity to behave well. Every mischance in life was an opportunity to learn something. And your duty was not to be submerged in self-pity, but to utilize the terrible blow in a constructive fashion. It's a very good idea. Everything is a learning experience. Hopefully you've lived through your learning experiences. And then when you get to a ripe old age, you go, man, I'm paying for that now. And lastly, the highest reach of civilization is a seamless system of trust among all parties concerned. Amen. I say amen to you. Thank you, baby Jesus. That is true. If you really wish to have a truly civilized civilization, you have to have a seamless system of trust among all parties. The last idea I want to give you, as you go out into a profession that frequently puts a lot of procedure and a lot of precautions and a lot of mumbo jumbo into what it does, This is not the highest form which civilization can reach. The highest form which civilization can reach is the seamless web of deserved trust. Not much procedure, just totally reliable people correctly trusting one another. That's the way an operating room works at the Mayo Clinic. If a bunch of lawyers were introduced a lot of process, the patients would all die. So never forget when you're a lawyer that you may be rewarded for selling this stuff, but you don't have to buy it. If your own life, what you want is a seamless web of deserved trust. And if your proposed marriage contract has 47 pages, my suggestion is do not enter. And you know what? That holds true for any kind of piece of legislation that comes out of that cesspool of DC or any other place that feels as though they are the right ones to write legislation. If it's 47 pages or longer, just say no. I'm thinking 5 pages is excessive. If a second grader can't read it and understand it and explain to you what it's supposed to do, then you need to go back to the drawing board and simplify it. That's my way of thinking when it comes to any kind of governmental mumbo-jumbo nonsense. And that's precisely why it's governmental mumbo-jumbo nonsense. Because they don't want anybody to be able to understand it. Hell, they don't even understand it. No, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not going to subscribe to it. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with y'all. I know I went through an awful lot of that, but I found it fascinating. Paranoia might save your life, but too much of it might kill you. That is true, Rob Works. I'm catching up on the chat, by the way, because I've been jibber-jabbering. Congress split over whether criticizing Israel constitutes anti-Semitism. No, it does not constitute anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is a made-up bullshit thing. That's just all there is to it. And yeah, the only reason why they can't, because there are a few of them that actually have a little bit of a conscience left. Not much, but a little bit of one, and it's tweaking them just enough. And I think the only reason they have a little bit of conscience left is because they do have a wife at home, or they do have constituents at home that are not one bit afraid to call them on their bullshit, or, hey, what was it that happened to Rand Paul over the weekend? Oops. So, U.S. has killed more than 20 million people in 37 victim nations. Wow. Thanks, Rob Works. That's... Catching up on the chat. That's kind of scary, hon. Okay, I'm going to share this Munger. I like that Munger thing. I really do. And you know, if more lawyers would pay attention to that shit, maybe people wouldn't say, you know, there are certain things that even a shark won't eat. I do like this, though. Okay. Where's the little guy? Is it this guy? I'll do that one. Okay. So, I think I'll even put that in the corner pocket. Oh, foofer! I missed out on the duck in the corner pocket. Damn it! Damn it. Okay, back to my pocket I go. Did you know? Did you know? This is also in my recommended, and I really, really enjoy this. Your gut microbe, or is your gut microbe the key to health and happiness? This is from TheGuardian.com. And I am of the opinion that yes, it is, because if you do not have a healthy digestive tract, it's going to show in the rest of your body, whether it is mentally or with your circulatory system or with your skin or muscle or bones or whatever. But if your gut microbes aren't healthy, then they cannot process the food that you're taking in properly. They cannot get the nutrients that you need. They cannot dispose of the nasty waste that you need to get rid of. Research suggests that the vast ecosystem of organisms that live in your digestive system might be as complex and influential as our genes in everything from mental health to athleticism and obesity. But is poop doping really the way ahead? Poop doping? Oh, I don't know that I want to... Oh, I really liked this until they said poop doping. And then I got concerned. Ooh. Apparently, John Cryan was originally trained as a neuroscientist to focus on everything from the neck upwards. But 8 years ago, an investigation into irritable bowel syndrome drew his gaze towards the gut. Like people with depression, those with IBS often report having experienced early life trauma. So in 2009, Cryan and his colleagues set about traumatizing rat pups by separating them from their mothers. They found that the microbiome of these animals in adulthood had decreased diversity. Ah, yes, Leslie, I see you messaged me. Thank you, darling. Yes, I got that ga-ding. Thank you ever so much. So, the gut microbiome is a vast ecosystem of organisms such as bacteria, yeasts, fungi, they're really fun guys, viruses, and protozoans that live in our digestive pipes, which collectively weigh about 2 kilograms, which is heavier than the average brain. Wow, I've got all kind of things that are popping into my brain now. It's an increasingly treated by scientists as an organ in its own right. Each gut contains about 1,000 trillion bacteria, many of which are vital, breaking down food and toxins, making vitamins, and training our immune systems. And yeah, so how are they attacking us? With bad food. You literally are what you eat, peeps. Cryan's study didn't attract much attention, but a few years later, Japanese scientists bred germ-free animals that grew up to have an elevated stress response. This alerted Cryan and his colleagues that they might be able to target the microbiome to alleviate some of the symptoms of stress. The hope is that it may one day be possible to diagnose some brain diseases and mental health problems by analyzing gut bacteria and to treat them, or at least augment the effect of drug treatments. Stay away from the drugs. Eat better, eat healthy, and exercise. Oh, they're going to do this with a specific bacteria, which, I actually the other day put a little Rid-X thingy down the old toilet because that's wonderful for the septic system. Puts little microorganisms in there that help digest. And yeah, that was probably a TMI. But hey, it works in your septic system. Why wouldn't it work in your gut? And that's why you have all these yogurts that have all these added culture and shit. Well, you know what? If you just make your own yogurt or you have just plain old, it has that bacteria in it already. Those probiotics. Yeah. Apparently Cryan and his team called these mood-altering germs psychobiotics. Ah. And they've co-written a book with the American scientist or science writer Scott C. Anderson called The Psychobiotic Revolution. Psychobiotics are the title of the psychobiotics of the title are probiotics that some scientists believe may have a positive effect on the mind. Probiotics are bacteria associated with healthy gut flora, such as some really big Latin words that I'm not going to even try and strain my tongue trying to say. They see them advertised in live yogurt. Make your own yogurt. Circles has a recipe. You can Google it too. That's what Circles told me. More diverse bacteria cocktails can also be bought as food supplements, but they are expensive. But that's way better than going to Big Pharma. Cryan and his team went to work with germ-free mice. In these mice, the brains don't develop properly, he said, and their nerve cells don't talk to each other appropriately. Oh, do they bicker? Do they fight? Are they always button heads? Thus implicating the microbiome in a variety of disorders. We've also shown changes in anxiety behavior, fear behavior, learning, stress response, the blood-brain barrier. We found a deficit in social behavior. So, for social interactions, we have an appropriate repertoire of bacteria in the gut as well. Over the past decade, research has suggested the gut microbiome might potentially be as complex and influential as our genes when it comes to our health and happiness. As well as being implicated in mental health issues, it's also thought that the gut microbiome may influence our athleticism, our weight, our immune function, inflammation, allergies, metabolism, and appetite. Because if you don't have a healthy gut, things just don't sound good. And they probably don't even taste good. So why do you bother eating? That makes total sense to me. The past month alone has seen studies linking the gut microbiome with post-traumatic stress disorder, or people with PTSD had lower than normal levels of 3 types of gut bacteria, and fathoming its connection with the autoimmune disease, finding that tea alters the gut microbiome in abysogenic, whatever. This is showing that ridiculously healthy 90-year-olds have the gut microbiome of young adults, and how targeting mosquitoes' gut flora could help beat malaria by increasing the malaria-attacking bacteria in their guts. And last week, 2 groundbreaking studies provided evidence that gut biodiversity influences whether or not immunotherapy drugs shrink tumors in cancer patients. So if you have a healthy gut, it will help you fight off those things. And then you wouldn't have to go to Big Pharma. Oh, hey, booyah. One story that caught the public's imagination during the summer implied that poop doping, aka microbiome enhancement via fecal transplant, what has been delicately described as a reverse enema, could become the new blood doping for elite cyclists. Really? Seriously? You're injecting someone else's shit into your rectum? Is that what this is? Ew. Lauren Peterson, a research scientist at the Jackson Laboratory for Genomic Medicine in Connecticut, looked at the stool samples of 35 cyclists, comparing those of elite and amateur cyclists. So sure was she that she could benefit from having some of the bacteria found in the gut microbiome of elite cyclists that she doped herself with the feces one had donated. Ew! Apparently, she's an endurance mountain biker herself, and she swears but can't prove scientifically that this took her from feeling too weak to train to winning pro cycling races. How about instead of taking someone else's poop, you just figure out what the hell it is that they're eating and you start eating that as well? Hey, cuts the poop completely out of the cycle. Well, not completely out, but at least you're not having to have poop injected enemas. Ugh. However, when you consider that 1 gram of feces is home for more bacteria than there are humans on Earth, and how little we understand about the vast majority of them, good and bad, this is definitely not recommended. Besides the fact that it's just really gross. Okay? Sorry, I gotta go and get my poop injection. Ew. Ugh. An understanding of the gut's importance to our well-being now fuels a global probiotic market projected to grow to $64 billion by 2023. This month in Washington, D.C., the microbiome is the headlining topic at the world's largest international neuroscience conference. And for its potential role in helping to diagnose and slow the progress of degenerative brain diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So, if someone's shit is really, really bad, apparently the challenge lies in pinpointing the cause and effect of specific bacteria and translating the results into treatments. This isn't easy. I think a lot of that would be really easy if you were to just look at the diet of a 90-year-old, very spry individual, see what all they eat, and then check that shit out. And yeah, if you can get a stool sample from them, if they're willing to poop in a baggie, see what kind of... I think that would not be all that difficult for all you scientific types that are, proving your preconceived notions. See, here I am going off on this, and I already said that. Shame on me. Apparently the challenge... Oh, nope, I already read that. There is Julia Enders, or Julia Enders, not sure how to pronounce that, who wrote an international bestseller, Gut, says we can check the stool for typical pathogens that would cause diarrhea or virus, but we have no idea what all the seemingly normal bugs are doing. We don't know which bacteria does what in who. So it's a big experiment. Well, that's why, you check out the diet and you recommend dietary changes. See how that works instead of putting all kind of drugs in there that, I can't tell you how many people I know that are on prescription medications that tell them no grapefruit, no citrus, no this, no that. And it's like, why? Why? If you're taking a drug that makes it to where you cannot consume a certain type of food that is beneficial for you, I think you should step away from the drug, is what I think. But I'm not a doctor, so there you go. Apparently it's a long, expensive process to test each strain in isolation. Well, maybe you don't want to test them each in isolation. Maybe they work well together. It's a team effort kind of thing. Cryan tested, that really too long Latin words, which had reduced stress in his mice on 29 people and found no benefit when compared with a placebo. But when he gave 22 healthy men a strain called yada 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 blah 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 1714 for 4 weeks, the subjects presented lower levels of anxiety and stress hormone than before, and made between 2 and 5 fewer mistakes in memory tests. It looks as though B. longum Why didn't you say that the first time? Belongum 1714 could be a bona fide psychobiotic, although Cryan says large-scale human studies are needed, which, yeah. I think we're already lab rats, so let's make it just out in the open, shall we? Philip W.J. Burnett, who is an associate professor at the psychiatry department at the University of Oxford, has had promising results testing the effects of prebiotics on mood. Prebiotics are complex carbohydrates that humans can't digest, but that probiotic bacteria thrive on. Essentially, prebiotics are dietary fibers that feed bacteria already in our gut. I argue that instead of proliferating the growth of a single species, as in taking a probiotic, if you eat these fibers, you grow lots of species of good bacteria. So you're more likely to get a hit, which, yeah, if you feed the happy ones, the good ones, and you feed them what they like to consume, then I would think they would multiply and they would be happier and healthier, which would in turn make you happier and healthier. Apparently a very small, short trial, 3 weeks, and involving 45 healthy volunteers, tested a commercially sold prebiotic called Bimuno and suggested this might have the potential to reduce anxiety. When you give someone an antidepressant, says Burnett, before you see a change in their depression or anxiety, it changes some underlying psychological mechanisms. You're more vigilant to be positive. For example, if you're on an antidepressant or are happy. That didn't make sense at all to me. In his study, people without the supplement or in a placebo group paid more attention to negative imagery because, he said, I think we're naturally morbid. But those on Bimuno paid more attention to the positive. He is cautious to point out, however, that when people take antidepressants, these early changes don't necessarily lead to their depression and anxiety symptoms improving. I know people on antidepressants and they don't necessarily improve. They just feel they become very attached to the antidepressants. And so then they get all worked up and anxious and depressed when they either are running close to running out or run out. That's not a healthy cycle either. He also stresses that prebiotics, or indeed any dietary supplements, are unlikely to replace the drugs used for the treatment of psychiatric illnesses. Oh, see, there's that preconceived notion thing. But they might be useful in helping medication work better in people who do not respond well to them. How about instead of putting people on medication and the medication isn't working, you take them off the medication, you give them the prebiotics, and if they are starting to show improvement, then you start, if they really do need some kind of medication, choose a medication that doesn't fuck with the prebiotics. There you go, F-bomb. Don't always think that medicine is going to be the do-all, be-all, end-all. How many centuries has the world been around without big pharma? Yeah. So, should the worried well be hitting the prebiotics? No, eat healthy. Eat healthy. Quit going to Mickey D's. More studies are needed to test if they are a quick fix for brain disorders per se, he says. But if someone is unwell or feeling down from a cold because the bacteria modulate the immune system, a quick fix would be prebiotics. So hey, nip it in the bud before it gets worse. Hey, what a novel idea. People hate hearing it, he says, but supplements can't replace a healthy, varied diet. True. Lentils, asparagus, Jerusalem artichokes. Okay, anything that has choke in the word just really doesn't sound appetizing. are apparently examples of natural prebiotic sources. I'll eat lentils. Those other two, But who wants to eat a bowl of Jerusalem artichokes when you can just pour some prebiotic powder on your cornflakes or on top of your McDonald's? Ew, ew, ew. I don't eat cornflakes either, so, yeah, but, But maybe that powder could be something that I could add to, I don't know about that. I don't trust, I'm getting very untrusting of a lot of this shit. Apparently this year, the health journalist Michael Mosley tested the sleep-enhancing effects of prebiotics in his documentary, The Truth About Sleep, and Barnett oversaw the 5-day experiment. At the start of the trial, Mosley went 21% of his time in bed awake. By the end, that had shrunk to 8%. Of all the strategies Mosley tested to treat his insomnia, he found prebiotics the most effective. Bemuno promptly sold out. Ah, well, that doesn't surprise me. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you eat right, you sleep better. Maybe that's why when after I've eaten a really good supper, I'm ready to go to bed. Apparently, I'm still getting people asking if I want to do a full-scale study and wanting to be a participant or saying after trying Bruno, I never slept better in my life, says Barnett. But after getting the Mosley thumbs up, the company has no need to fund a study. A bit of a bummer, says Barnett. I don't know if it really works or if it's just mass hysteria. Well, you know what? Placebos work too. And just because it works for one person doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone, because that's the complexity of the human critter. Not everybody likes asparagus. Or some of that other shit out there. Apparently, there have been further suggestions that the microbiome could also be the key to athletic ability. The APC Microbiome Institute in Cork published a paper in 2014 reporting its findings that the gut flora of the Ireland rugby team was more diverse than that of the healthy control group. So will people in the future follow Peterson's example and experiment with fecal transplants from top athletes? Ew. No. Thank you. No. It's not something you can do at home. No. Don't try this at home. Without a hairnet or any. Ooh. The donor's blood and stool needs to be screened for diseases before being expertly delivered in the colon via a colonoscope. No. Sedation is required. Yeah, you're not no. Okay, it goes on with fecal shit, and I just ain't. No, I'm gonna let you finish reading about the fecal transplant stuff, because no, I'm full of my own. I do not need someone else. Oh. Ah. Well, there you go, Rob Works. You must have a very healthy digestive tract. And that is wonderful. And I think I have a pretty healthy digestive tract too, because I get rumblies in the tumblies quite regularly anymore. Whoo. So, okay, I'm going to share this over on this effing site as well. But yeah, that whole poop injection shit. I keep hearing, is it Zappa? Ram it up your poop chute? No. I'm not gonna go there. Unsqueeze them butt cheeks. I tell you what, definitely. Wow, that's something that really gives you a butt pucker. Ooh, I already said I don't have the proper permits to take someone else's shit and store it, so I really don't want to have it injected up my backside. Hi, Deb. Welcome aboard, lady, over here on this effing site. Okay. Now that I've gotten to those two, I mean, there's a couple. Oh, do I want to go there too? The science of sleep, regulating emotions in the 24-hour mind. See, now we've already found out. A healthy gut is starting to look like you will also have healthy sleep. Gosh, I got to go there because I've seen some other things earlier today that made me go, what? Okay, this is from theatlantic.com. The surprising revolt at the most liberal college in the country. Oh. Activists are disrupting lectures to protest white supremacy, but many students are taking steps to stop them. At Reed College, a small liberal arts college in Portland, Oregon. Oh, my goodness, really? A 39-year-old Saturday Night Live skit recently caused an uproar over cultural appropriation. Really? In the classic Steve Martin skit, he performs a goofy song, King Tut, which is pretty freaking lame, but what the hell. Meant to satirize Tutankhamun exhibit touring the U.S. and to criticize the commercialization of the Egyptian culture. You could say that his critique is weak, that his humor is lame, that his dance moves are unintentionally offensive or downright racist. All of that and more was debated in the humanities course at Reed. But many students found the video so egregious that they opposed its very presence in class. That's like somebody making a song just littered with the N-word everywhere. A member of Reedies Against Racism, or RAR, told the student newspaper. RAR. Oh, that's just so funny. So, when you guys do your chants, do you go, RAR, RAR, RAR? I'm sorry. That's just stuck now. Oh, man, I'm going to have fun with that one. Apparently, they told the student newspaper this when they were asked about Martin's performance. She told me more. The Egyptian garb of the backup dancers and singers, many of whom were African American, is racist as well. The gold face of the saxophone dancer leaving its tomb is an exhibition of blackface. No, it's gold face. And only in America are they called African Americans. They don't do that. Oh, it is a fun song, Grammy, but yeah, watching Steve Martin do it is like torture. At least for this old broad. It is, and now it's going to be stuck in my head, but that's okay. Move to Babylon, a King Tut. Oh, crap. There we go. So, such outrage has been increasingly common in the course Humanities 110 over the past 13 months. And on September 26, 2016, the newly formed RAR apparently they organized a boycott of all classes in response to a Facebook post from an actor, Isaiah Washington, who urged every single African American in the United States that was really fed up with being angry, sad, and disgusted over police shootings to stay home on Monday. I think that's a racist remark in and of itself. Why are you urging just the African Americans? And how do you know they're African Americans? Just because they have darker pigmentation does not mean that. Just saying. Of the 25 demands issued by RAR that day, the largest section was devoted to reforming Humanities 110. 110. 110, along with RAR. Apparently it's a required year-long course for freshmen, and it consists of lectures that everyone attends and small breakout classes where students learn how to discuss, debate, and defend their readings. Learn to actually interact with others. Hey, and possibly even consider someone else's perspective. What could ever go wrong with such a thing? Wait, this is in the ivory towers of educaption. That pretty much answered that. It's the heart of the academic experience at Reed, which ranks second for future PhDs in the humanities and fourth in all subjects. The humanities. Rar. Hey. As Professor Peter Steinberger details in the 2011 piece for Reed magazine, what Hum 110 is all about, the course is intended to train students whose primary goal is to engage in original, open-ended critical inquiry. Okay, I don't have a problem with that at all. Open-ended, which means open-minded. Just don't have your mind so open that when you tilt your head, it falls out. But for RAR, Hum 110 is all about oppression. Dun dun dun. Apparently, we believe that the first lesson that freshmen should learn about Hum 110 is that it perpetuates white supremacy by centering whiteness as the only required class at Reed. Really? Hum 110 is now whiteness? Okay. This is according to RAR. The texts that make up the Hum 110 syllabus from the ancient Mediterranean, Mesopotamian, Persia, and Egypt regions are Eurocentric, Caucasoid, and thus oppressive. This is from the RAR leaders. Oh, and it feels like a cruel test for students of color. Wow, I'm thinking the Mediterranean, Mesopotamia, Persia, and Egypt. I'm thinking there's some colorful people living in those areas. What the hell? Apparently they aren't the right color. They aren't students of color. And it's traumatizing their peers. So, RAR was created to boycott and to mourn the death of Black Americans at the hands of police nationwide. And yet, if you look at the actual statistics, don't get creative when you collect those numbers there, peeps. Okay? It's pretty much an across-the-board kind of thing. Apparently, speeches and open mics highlighted the angst that many students feel on campus where, here we go, racist African Americans account for just 5% of those enrolled. Well, why are they African Americans? Why aren't they just Americans? Why do they get to be special and have African American? Why can't I be German Russian American? Why can't everybody accept that? Oh, I want to go to a RAR meeting now. What's more, the graduation rate among black students at the time was 65%, compared to 79% for all students. Is that necessarily because the school sucks? RAR has a sympathetic audience. Reed is home to the most liberal student body of any college. This is according to the Princeton Review. It's also ranked the second most studious, a rigor inculcate a, a rigor inculcated in hum 110. Hum, hum. Apparently, a major crisis for Reed College started when Rar put those core qualities, social justice and academic study, on a collision course. Dun dun dun. Beginning on boycott day, Rar protested every single hum lecture that school year. In class, protests are very rare on college campuses, and during the nationwide upsurge of student activism tracing back to 2015, protesters have occupied administrative buildings, stormed into libraries, shut down visiting speakers in auditoriums, and walked out of classrooms, but they're hardly ever disruptive in the classroom itself. Whereas RAR has done it more than 60 times. A hum protest is visually striking. Up to several dozen RAR supporters position themselves alongside the professor and quietly hold signs reading, "We demand space for students of color. We cannot be erased. Fuck Hum 110. Stop silencing blacks and brown voices. The rest of society is already standing on their necks," and so on, and so on, and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Rar. Signs are often accompanied by photos of black Americans killed by police. Okay, I understand that angst, but have you ever stopped to think that maybe you don't have an awful lot? And why is it African American and then black American and then black American and then African American? And make up your frickin' mind. Just maybe, a lot of people that stayed in the easy bake oven of life longer don't want to go to school there, and that's why the population is so low there. Do you ever stop to think of that? One of the first hum professors to request that not occupy the classroom was Lucia Martinez Valdivia, who said her pre-existing PTSD would make it difficult to face protesters. And yet, apparently in an open letter, Rar offered sympathy to her, but then accused her of being anti-black, discriminating against those with disabilities, and engaging in gaslighting without specifying those charges. Well, Rar, aren't you special, bunch of little cupcakes? So, when someone asked for specifics, Rar leader replied, "Asking for people to display their trauma so that you feel sufficiently satisfied is a form of violence, and yet you are insisting on inflicting that upon someone else. Do you not call that a form of violence? Look in the mirror, darling." But another RAR member did offer a specific via Facebook. The appropriation of AAVE, or African American Vernacular English. What the fuck? This was on her shirt during the lecture. "Poetry is lit," is a form of anti-blackness. What? Hey, have you not listened to Prince E? Dude, that guy writes some really awesome stuff. He stayed in the easy bake oven of life a lot longer than I did. Just saying. During Martinez's lecture on Sappho, protesters sat together in their seats wearing all black. They confronted her after class, with at least one of them yelling at the professor about her past trauma, bringing her to tears, which, oh no, that's not violence. We're just calling out that anti-race, that she's a big old meanie poopy head. Rar. I am intimidated by these students, Martinez later wrote, noting that she is scared to teach courses on race, gender, or sexuality, or even texts that bring these issues up in any way. And I'm a gay mixed-race woman. Oh, shit. So she's really, really, really a frickin' minority, and yet, rawr, has to get in her face. Such fear, she revealed in an op-ed for the Washington Post, prompted some of her colleagues, including people of color, immigrants, and those without tenure, to avoid lecturing altogether. See what you did, you lovely little rawr people. Now, see, you need to stand up to them because you are the adults here. Okay? If you're wanting to teach in the ivory towers of educraption, you need to stand up to the children. Those little pissy ant rawr people need to be told that go change your diaper. Okay? Apparently, national coverage of the Hum 110 crisis has focused primarily on the clashes between rawr and faculty. But what about the majority of students not in rawr? This individual, the author of this article, spoke with a few dozen of them to get an understanding of what campus was like last year, and a clear pattern emerged: intimidation, stigma, and silence when it came to discussing Hum 110 or racial politics in general. The most popular public forum at Reed is Facebook, where social tribes coalesce and where the most emotive and partisan views get the most attention. Facebook conversations at Reed bring out the extreme aspects of political discourse on campus. This was spoken by a sophomore who recently co-founded a student group, the Thinkery, which is dedicated to critical and open discussion. Yay! Raphael, the founder of Political Dissidents Club, warned incoming students over Facebook that Reed's culture can be stifling or suffocating and narrow-minded. In other words, if you aren't tolerant in our brand of tolerance, we're going to rawr at you. It also can be bullying. When the parent of a freshman rebuked rawr for derailing a lecture, a rawr supporter tagged the parent's employer in a post. In mid-April, when students were studying for finals, a rawr leader grew frustrated that more supporters weren't showing up to protest Hum 110. In a post viewable only to Reed students, the leader let loose. Oh, here we go. Let's see what kind of verbal temper tantrum this one had. To all the whites and able, mentally and physically, who don't come to sit-ins ever anymore, rarely, all I got is shade for you. Shade for you? Okay. If you ain't with me, then I will accept that you are against me. Wow. Critical thinking example right there. There's 6 hums left. And I best be seeing all you phony-ass white allies show up. Single finger salutes coming up for this little butt munch. How you gonna be making all your white supremacy messes and not help clean up your own community by coming and sitting for a freaking hour and still claim that you ain't laughing at a lynching kind of white? Sweetheart, honey, talk about loaded with racism and racial epithets and nasty, nasty verbiage, hateful verbiage. Damn, child, look in the frickin' mirror. Read what you say. Oy. Apparently, this rawr leader proceeded to call out at least 15 students by name. One, named Patrick, defended himself, saying in part, I didn't realize this was your opinion of me as a friend. I will not give you my support simply because you are leading a noble cause. The leader referred to that defense as white supremacy, Another leader used a vulgar insult followed by white tears, weenie, 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 weenie. Man, if you... Rawr. Non-white students weren't spared either. A group of them agreed to like Patrick's comment and show of support. A RAR member demanded those non-black pox, people of color. Oh, wow. Is that new age verbiage for Uncle Tom? Huh? Non-black pox? Fuck you. They better explain themselves, calling them anti-black pos, pieces of shit. And another member tried to get Patrick on track. Hey man, everyone getting called out on here, me included, is getting a second chance tomorrow to wake up and make the right decision. Yeah, wake up and make the right decision. Make a decision you can live with. Make a decision that you can look in the mirror and go, okay, I'm not a douche. I'm not a sellout. I'm not going to fall for this reverse racism, which is basically what it is. You are implying racism by being racist. And you're projecting that onto others, you little rar. As tensions continued to mount, one student decided to create an online forum to debate Hum 110. Laura, a U.S. Army veteran who served twice in Afghanistan, named the Facebook page Reed Discusses Hum 110. But it seemed like people didn't want to engage publicly. I did receive private responses from people who wanted to participate, but who were afraid to do so. Terrorism, intimidation, bullying tactics. Hello? One student drafted a comment but deleted it because I realized it wasn't worth the risk of having basically 80% of my social circle vilify me for my opinion on an honestly relatively minor issue. Okay, sweetheart, here's a little life lesson for you. If 80% of your social circle is going to vilify you because you have a different opinion, I'm thinking you need to change your social circle, or at least broaden it a skosh. Another student wrote to Laura in a private message, I'm coming into this as a POC, but I disagree with everything RAR has been saying for a long time, and it feels as if it isn't safe for anyone to express anything that goes against what they're saying. Bullying tactics, terroristic behavior, hello! Laura could relate. Her father immigrated from Syria and was brown, so she stood in front of Hum 110 just before class to distribute an anonymous survey to gauge opinions about the protests. An implicit rebuke to RAR. Laura, who lives in the neighboring city of Beaverton, said that she saw this move as risky. I would have rethought what I did had I lived on campus, she said. And if Facebook is no place to debate Hum 110, what about the printed page? Not so much, because during the entire 2016-2017 school year, not a single op-ed or even a quote critical of RAR's methods, let alone goals, was published in the student newspaper. This is according to a review of the archives archived issues. The only thing that comes close is a clarification regarding a school dance. Oh, here it is. RAR suggested that students, specifically white students, give a suggested amount of $5 to RAR if they planned on consuming black or brown culture at the ball. This money, explicitly regarded as reparations, was collected at the door by student activists. The ball organizer responded that we are in support of Readies Against Racism, but want to make it clear that their event is unaffiliated with ours. Wow. You know, I would just love to drop kick some people, but yeah, my foot don't reach that far. Apparently, the student magazine, The Grail, did publish a fair amount of dissent over RAR, but almost all was anonymously. The sole exception was Emma, who contrasted the dangers of growing up in Mexico City with the coddling culture promoted by RAR. In an unpopular opinion, an anonymous student, a low-income, first-generation American person of color, recognizes RAR's valid points, but said that its supporters holding pictures of dead children in my face during Hum 110 is making it harder for me to learn. The school year, students are ditching anonymity and standing up to RAR in public, and almost all of them are freshmen of color. The turning point was the derailment of the Hum lecture on August 28th, the first day of classes. As a Humanities 110 program chair, Elizabeth Drum introduced a panel presentation. 3 RAR leaders took the stage and ignored her objections. Drum canceled the lecture, a first since the boycott. Using the panelist's microphone, a leader told the freshmen, "Our work is just as important as the work of the faculty, so we are going to introduce ourselves as well." The pushback from freshmen first came over Facebook. To interrupt a lecture in a classroom setting is in serious violation of academic freedom and is just unthoughtful and wrong, wrote a student from China who distributed a letter of disgust against RAR. Another student, Isabel, ridiculed the group for its unsolicited emotional theater. 2 days later, a video circulated showing freshmen in the lecture hall admonishing protesters. When a few professors get into the heated exchange with RAR leaders, an African-American freshman in the front row stands up and raises his arms. "This is a classroom. This is not the place. Right now, we are trying to learn. We're the freshman students." And the room erupts with applause. Caught up with that student, whose name was Pax, "This is a weird year to be a freshman," he sighed. Pax is a very mild-mannered, so I asked what made him snap into action that morning. It felt like both sides, RAR and faculty, weren't paying attention to the freshman class, as it being our class, he replied. They started yelling over the freshmen, and it was very much like we weren't people to them, that we were just a body to use. Next, this author wrote with a student who shot the video, a sophomore from India. He serves as a mentor for international students. A lot of them told me how disappointed they were and that they traveled such a long distance to come to this school and worked so hard to get to this school, and their first lecture was canceled. He also recalled the mood last year for many students of color like himself. There was very much a standard opinion you had to have about RAR. Otherwise, people would look at you funny, and some people would say stuff to you. A lot of people were called race traitors. Bullying, terroristic behavior, hate verbiage. Another student from India responded to the canceled lecture by organizing a freshman-only meeting on the quad. For us to rise out of this culture of private concerns, hatred, and fear, we need to find a way to think, speak, and act together, he wrote in a mass email. He also told this author an upperclassman warned him he was very crazy to hold a public meeting, but it was a huge success. About 150 freshmen showed up, and by all accounts, their debate over Hum 110 was civil and constructive. In the absence of Facebook and protest signs, the freshmen were taking back their class. For the anniversary of the boycott that gave rise to RAR, the group planned another boycott on September 25th. And in the intervening year, the Reid administration had met many of RAR's demands, including new hires in the Office of Inclusive Community. You really have an office called that? Holy shit. Fast-tracking the re-evaluation of HUM 110 syllabus that traditionally happens every 10 years, and arranging a long series of 6x6 meetings. 6 RAR students and 6 HUM professors to solicit ideas for the syllabus. Those meetings ended with RAR members, those meetings ended when RAR members stopped coming. They complained of being forced to sit in hours of fruitless meetings listening to full-grown adults cry about Aristotle. Oh, really? The movement cannot continue to manufacture an enemy that has agreed to review the syllabus and bend over backwards on all accounts to accommodate the free speech of the protesters, wrote Misha, another freshman in the first op-ed critical of RAR published in the school paper. Yet the more accommodation that's been made, the more disruptive the protests have become, and the more heightened the rhetoric. Black Lives Matters was a common chant at last year's boycott. This year's no cops, no KKK, no racist USA was RAR's increasingly claims those cops will be unleashed on them. Or, in other words, HUM professors are entertaining threatening violence on our bodies. I would like to give you a hug around the neck till you shut the fuck up. For the anniversary, RAR arranged an open mic for students of color. Rollo, a freshman from Houston, described how difficult it was to grow up poor, black, and gay in Texas. He then turned to RAR. No, I won't subject myself to your politically correct ideas. No, I won't allow myself to be a part of your cause. He criticized the demagoguery that prevents any comprehensive conversation about race outside of racism is bad. Rollo later told me that RAR had a beautiful opportunity to address police violence, but squandered it with extreme rhetoric. Identity politics is divisive, he insisted. And as far as HUM 110, I like to do my own interpreting. He resents RAR playing the race card on ancient Egyptian culture. Over at the lecture hall, RAR covered the door with photos of police victims so that anyone entering would have to rip them off. Shortly into Anne Delahanty's lecture on the Iliad, a RAR noise parade shut it down. It was the third class canceled that month. And after another one refused to teach the Epic of Gilgamesh, which that really is an interesting story, in front of signs tying him to white supremacy, where Delahanty had just stood, a RAR leader read a statement about how Reid is complicit in modern-day slavery. Oh, okay. You don't think you're complicit in that as well? Apparently, this is because of operating bank Wells Fargo has ties to private prisons. Oh, Wells Fargo has ties to all kinds of nastiness. And you know what? I just realized I went over time. Holy shit! Why didn't someone tell me? I just got so involved in this that I am out of time. Y'all are going to have to finish reading this RAR. I didn't even get to my book or this date in history or any of that shit. Wow, wow, wow. This day has flown. This day has flown. Unless perhaps... No, I'm just over. Well, thanks y'all for putting up with me and listening in, and yeah, me going off on a tangent and really just going off. So, have an awesome rest of your evening. I'm going to share this one as well. And no, I don't think I'm going to be back later on to test out my new headphones. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. But yeah,